Well, today is surf and turf on the Kamado Joes, and that's right, we're using the Classic 2 and the Joe Jr., and we've got a prime ribeye steak that we're gonna sear, and then we're gonna slow cook it until 130. It's gonna be amazing, and then we're gonna fire up that Joe Jr. to do lobster tail and shrimp. So let's fire up the grills and prepare the food. All right, we're setting up the Classic 2 here. I've kind of banked all of the charcoal on one side, and then we'll lay the soapstone on that side, and then have regular grill grates on this side for indirect. We're gonna do the same thing on the Joe Jr. I've got post oak in both of these. Just a little bit for the steak. You really don't even need it, but just a little bit to give it that smoky flavor. And then we got a little post oak at the very bottom with this Jealous Devil charcoal. All right, guys, it's time to prepare the lobster tail, the shrimp, and this prime ribeye steak, and we have dry brined it, patted it down. We are going to throw down just a sprinkle of this Frank's hot sauce. I typically don't always do a binder, but I usually do olive oil or duck fat. But this is my first time using barbecue sauce or the hot sauce, as I hear that it gives a nice smoky flavor, but again, you don't taste the hot sauce. And then all we're gonna do, since we already have salt on it, is just a little bit of that pepper. This is coarse ground pepper that we're doing on this prime. Make sure we get all the sides for a good sear that we're gonna put on the Kamado Joe Classic 2 using the soapstone. So this looks good to me. And now we're going to prepare our lobster tails and also our shrimp. I'm gonna bring you in closer to show you what that's gonna look like. What you've noticed here is I've already got one lobster tail done, and if you've never done this before, what you can do is take some kitchen shears with this lobster or a really sharp knife and just gently kind of go right down the middle here. Yep, just like that. And then what you'll do is you're gonna gently open this until you kind of peel this apart. And if it's kind of tough like this, that means you need to keep going a little further in, but you don't want to cut too deep. And then we will open this up, and then you'll just literally get your finger underneath here, and then you'll just unattach it from the bottom until you can pull it on top, and then we will season it that way. All right, friends, now that we've got our lobster tails done, what we're gonna do is I've melted a whole stick of butter, then got some garlic cloves. We put that in there. Missed a few spots, but that's all right. We're gonna whisk this together with that butter, and we're gonna use this to baste both the lobster and also the shrimp. And then we will sprinkle a little bit of this garlic powder on just the lobster here. And then we will I threw in some rosemary to give it that added flavor. So you could also add your favorite rub if you want to, but this is just simple garlic and butter and some garlic powder. And then we're gonna sprinkle it at the very end with some lime. All right, so right now we are getting the grills up to temp. I showed you earlier kind of how we set it up, and now we're almost there. We've already prepped the food. This is already hitting almost 500 as we're talking right now. I'd like to get this up to closer to 550 to 600, and then that soapstone is absorbing heat, and it'll be a lot higher, maybe that 650. And then the Joe Jr., we're dialing in around that 270 degrees, and then we'll put on the shrimp and the lobster. So let me bring you in and let's put on the food. All right, friends, we got the soapstone up to almost 600 degrees, and the grill's even hotter than that. In different spots, it's up to 650. It's time to sear, and I went ahead and used the meat stick to go ahead and monitor our temperature, and we're gonna do this just 20 seconds, turn it, 20 seconds, turn it, and then we'll flip it after a couple minutes. You ready for the sear? Move over to indirect heat when you hit that 120. Well, let's just check on the shrimp. Oh yeah, it's already turned colors there. I love that. You can definitely tell the shrimp's got longer to go. And as we mentioned earlier, the lobster always takes a little bit longer or takes shorter amount of time to cook. And I can tell that this still needs to cook until it gets to that internal temperature what we're looking for, on that 140, and we're at like 120 right now, a little less on some of these. And so we're gonna let this keep on going until we get to that internal temperature. Finished product. Look at that crust, that translucent shrimp and lobster looks great. All right, friends, we have finished cooking our steak, our shrimp, and our lobster. I've already kind of cut into this, and I'll show you another video of what a close-up looks like as I'm doing a taste test here. Nice and flimsy. Got that nice medium rare going right there. I'll taste it right now. It's like pull apart. Oh my gosh. I love the flavor. That salt brine, it does it right with a just simple pepper at the very end. That tastes awesome. And I don't know if you'll notice this, but you can scratch that crust and it looks amazing. Do a little bite of that lobster. Buttery. Just the perfect amount of flavor. Yes. Buttery garlic shrimp. That's where it's at with that rosemary. Come on, you have to try this recipe, so good. Want to be sure to check out all the videos and recipes on the channel, and I have to bring in my little girls for taste testers. They do not want to taste the shrimp or lobster, but man, they sure want to taste this steak. You want to take a bite? All right, take a little, yeah, here you go. You want to get up? Yeah. All right, can you grab the steak?
I want to sit.
Oh, you want to sit? All right, take a bite, my lady. This is May, this is Faith. Take a bite of that. And what do you guys think? So good? All right, guys, you heard from the other taste testers. They really enjoyed that steak. This really is a fun recipe. It's really simple. Anyone can do it. And I also wanted to show you the Junior and the Kamado at the same time. I could have done things all at one grill, but I wanted to show you kind of the diversity of how you can really rearrange things on that Joe Junior and also use that Soapstone, the Classic. So I want to remind you, less hate, more love, good barbecue, and we'll see you in the next video.